Hello everybody, my name is James, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about qualifying for the Imola Grand Prix. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Formula 1 content. Also make sure to follow me on X at James's Pit Lane, I'll leave a link in the description. But let's jump straight into the video. So that was an exciting qualifying session, wasn't it? And it was very close between McLaren and Red Bull throughout the three sessions. Now Red Bull on Friday looked all over the place, and it did not look like they could recover from that. But like they did in Japan, on the Saturday, they bounced back and Verstappen found a load of pace. And really, it looked like pole position was going to be between him, Oscar Piastri, and Lando Norris. But in the end, it was Oscar Piastri who managed to pull off a brilliant lap at the end of Q3. It was close. I mean, Oscar Piastri could very well have not had pole because on his final run, he had traffic in the last sector, which he had to navigate through those final two corners. So that definitely would have lost him time. Still, though, he managed to take pole with Verstappen going P2 and Lando Norris only managed P4. His final run in Q3 was just not there. And to be honest, he's not really looked to have the advantage over Piastri throughout the weekend so far. And it did show in qualifying. As I say, in his last run in Q3, he just did not have the pace. He wasn't really finding the time. And then George Russell managed to beat him by pulling off a brilliant move and going to the medium tyres instead of the soft tyres at the end. And Russell went to the mediums following Aston Martin showing good pace on the mediums in Q2. So it was a bold move from Russell, but it paid off and he managed to go P3 and Norris starts P4. And speaking about that bold move, Russell said, "We were going for it. We thought maybe the medium tyre would be a fast one, and it turns out to be a good choice. Of course, a small compromise for tomorrow, but it was worth it to be back in the top three." Now, the reason Russell said there was a bit of a compromise doing that strategy is because he's used up a set of medium tyres ahead of the Grand Prix. And obviously, in the Grand Prix, you want the more durable sets of tyres. Still, though, as Russell points out, it was worth it to be in the top three. And it's a track that is difficult to overtake on. So a good job by Russell. Now, as for Ferrari, it was a very disappointing qualifying session for them, with both drivers being knocked out in Q2. Charles Leclerc was only 11th fastest and Lewis Hamilton was 12th. Now, the team didn't look particularly quick in practice, but when you get to qualifying, it looked like the pace had improved a bit. But in Q2, it just looked like in the final runs of that session, Ferrari could not switch the tyres on and both drivers were knocked out, and they were knocked out by the two Aston Martin drivers who did their runs on medium tyres. So a really difficult day for Ferrari and not what they would have wanted at their home Grand Prix. And speaking about what went wrong, Hamilton said, "I really feel that we'd made so many positive steps throughout the weekend. The car was feeling better, the brakes were better, the balance was really nice. In Q2, run 1 felt decent, but when we put the new tyres on, for some reason, I just didn't have any more grip and couldn't go any faster. You see everyone else, they managed to switch the tyres on clearly. We need to look into that." But let's move on to Yuki Tsunoda, who had a big crash during qualifying. Now, the incident happened during Q1 at the Villeneuve chicane. Basically, he spun at high speed and then the car flipped as it approached the barrier, landing upside down before the roll hoop turned him back over. Now, Tsunoda was taken to the medical centre following this incident, but the good news is that he hopped out the car and he looked okay as he walked away from the crash. But yeah, that was a huge impact, and it looked like Tsunoda just took a huge amount of curb before the crash happened. And speaking about how it unfolded after seeing further replays of the incident, Sky F1's Anthony Davidson said, "He's hitting the floor, a lot of plank dust on the approach to the corner, then takes a huge amount of curb, the most I've seen so far this weekend. The car rotates around, hits the light panel. I'm not sure he hit the catch fencing much, if at all. And most of the damage has been done to the tyre barrier, that's been covered over." Now, due to this incident, Red Bull obviously have a massive rebuild ahead of them before the Imola Grand Prix, and it's either going to be a pit lane start for Tsunoda or he's going to start at the back of the grid, based on the fact that there's going to be a massive rebuild and they'll probably want to make changes to the car. I would think Tsunoda's going to start from the pit lane. So it's going to be a long Grand Prix for Tsunoda, who did apologise to the team following the incident, saying that he was unnecessarily pushing at the time of the crash. But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos. And until the next one, take care.